Hello, good morning all. Hello doctor and participants. We'll start the sessions in a few more minutes. Please wait. Good morning all. I'm your host for this session, Aishwarya here. I welcome you all to 11th session of 1 week faculty development program on outcome-based education organized by Institute for Engineering Research and Publication, IFERP, in association with United Inverters, Asian Pacific Association for Dental and Oral Health, Krishna Institute of Dental Science, and New Horizon College of Engineering. First of all, I apologize if I mispronounce of any of your names and wordings. We will moving forward to benefits. Benefits of outcome-based education bring clarity among the student and teachers. Every student has the flexibility and freedom of learning in their ways. There is more than one method of learning. Reduce comparison among the student as everyone has a different target. Completely involves student taking responsibility for their goals. This FDP has 14 sessions with 2 sessions per day. And on 14 eminent speakers will share their knowledge and experience. And now today's topic is planning assessment for OBE. Now coming to first session, before inviting our speaker of the session, Dr. Deepak, to take the spotlight, I would like to give an introduction about him and his expertise. Dr. Deepa Singh completed his doctorate from India Institute of Technology, Kanpur, and has over 13 years of experience in the field of academics and IT industries. Its core area of expertise include real-life application of artificial intelligence and IoT-based system. Apart from teaching, is prominent institution in Lucknow. She is also consultant of several IT firms. She has also advised UP government and IT implementation in the public liberties. She has played a key role in several AI-based research projects, which include digital transformation of several prominent educational institutions of Lucknow and 2 projects funded by Government of India. Currently, he is involved in a project related to implementing sensor networks in forests to serve wildlife. He has imparted training to several senior level executives in different IT companies in different parts of world including Singapore, Japan and China. Now I welcome Deepak Singh can deliver the keynote.
Thank you, Aishwarya. Thanks for your kind introduction, and thanks everyone for joining this session. So, as Aishwarya introduced, my name is Dr. Deepak Singh, and I am currently advising several companies and colleges related to AI and ML. Apart from that, when I advise these companies, and yeah, am I audible? So, am I audible? Can we proceed?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. When I go to these colleges, institutions, and companies and talk about implementing AI ML, they came up with a problem. We don't have experts in this field. We don't have skills. We don't have a person who can train us. So, by virtue of delivering those projects, I'm also a trainer. I'm also a teacher. I'm visiting faculty in several institutes, including one institute of national importance, IIIT Lucknow, Indian Institute of Information Technology Lucknow. So I'm visiting faculty in several Jaipuriya Institute of Management, which are in the top 100 colleges in India. I'm also a faculty over there. So when I go to these institutes, they normally talk a lot about OBEs. So from there, I came to know this OBE, experience OBE, and after that, when I teach and taught there, when I make learning management solutions for them, we need to take care of assessment planning for OBE. So as Aishwarya said very rightly, OBE, there are a lot of different benefits of OBE. Students are at the same level, so you discrimination will be zero. So and students are motivated to learn something. So instead of just fighting for the gradings, instead of just fighting for the mark, they will fight for the skills. I want to learn this skill, because skills are related with marks. Or you can say, that's a big sentence, but even then we can say that marks will be byproduct and the main product will be skills if we apply outcome-based education. And currently NAC and BA, they are taking this very, very seriously. What's your plan? How have you planned your sessions? Have you planned your assessments? So these type of things. So I will start with a basic definition of OBE. I think everybody knows that because you are going through these things from past several days. But I will try to explain this definition, and then I will try to pick some words from there. So OBE has the emphasis clearly on the idea of what students needs to know. It doesn't focus on marks. So it has clearly that objective of what the student needs to know. So that needs to know is an important word here, or an important clause here. The second thing, what skills and knowledge they need to have. So know means knowledge, and we are also talking about the skills. So two things are now coming in picture. What skills and knowledge they need to have. So to measure the knowledge, definitely there are a lot of tools. You can go and post a quiz and measure the knowledge. But to measure the skills, you need to think about something. To measure their efficiency in the skills and knowledge, you need to think about something. You need to plan your assessment in a different way. Basically, it's a performance-based education. And if it's a performance-based education, we need to measure the performance. So today we will discuss about how to measure the performance using different type of assessment methods. I will explain some new type of assessment method, which is not very common, very popular in Indian education system, but even then, I will try to explain them, and you will see that they are very, very, you can say they can be very, very useful during your sessions or during your during delivering your contents. So here we are talking about performance-based education, and definitely a big part will be how to measure the performance. And in my session, we will talk about measuring the performance using different tools, using different ideas. I will give you several ideas and I will give you several tips with examples also. That's the main agenda of my talk. I'm open for questions anytime during my sessions. I'm not stopping you from asking questions. During any slide, you can stop me and we can discuss, because I know that everyone is a teacher here. I respect teachers a lot, and so we can discuss this on common platform. So stop me anywhere if you want to ask questions, if you want to give any suggestions, even if you are not convinced with any thought, I'm open for that. I'm open for that. So before measuring, before talking about measurement of their skills and knowledge, we need to think why we are doing that. Because students are getting benefits from them, and we are in a job in which students are primary. They are our customers. You can think it like that. So if they are happy, if they understand that what we are thinking and that's beneficial for them, definitely they will be associated with us, and our you can say area can flourish, specifically that teaching and learning. So this OBE brings clarity and among teachers and students, because we have already finalized that what's your learning goals. So clarity is there. What's the skill you are going to learn? So clarity is there. Every student has flexibility and freedom in their own way. They need to, they can decide, I want this skill, so I will go for course number 1 instead of course number 2. Yes, you can go there. They can decide, I want to focus on this specific skill part in the course number 1. Yes, you can go there, but that depends how many marks you are getting up for that skills, and you need to plan it in very advance. And there can be one or more method of learning. That's a very interesting thing which OBE has. If you want to teach them a skill, we don't need to ask them to mug up several books to learn, to remember, memorize several books. We are teaching skills. Now we have some objectives, we have some goals, we need to achieve that goals, and we are teaching some skills to achieve that goal. So to do that, we are very, very clear that we want to reach at this place. So there are several paths which can go there. So instead of teaching physics in a classroom, you can take your students, go in the ground, you can play cricket, and you can explain them the laws of physics. So that can be possible. So there are different ways of reaching that goal if you know that goal, and if that goal is clear to teacher and student both. Otherwise, student will say, "This is our classroom times, and you are taking me to cricket ground." But if they know what the goal is, if they know what's the skill they are going to learn in this session, they will not oppose, and they will definitely enjoy it. This will, as Aishwarya said, that this will reduce the comparison between students, and but definitely everyone has a different target. He can take this course, X course, in a different ways. They can learn the skills specifically which are necessary. They can focus on different units. They can focus on different assessments, and they can score the same mark. And also because we have already finalized the goals, it completely involves the students, and the students are responsible for them. That's the best thing. You can just think the customer is responsible for its own growth, for its own product. So definitely customer will say that, yeah, I know a better product. I want a better product. So I'll definitely I'll work hard to get that better product. Hence, involving that customer is very, very beneficial here. For that, there are 4 principles suggested by Spedy. I think you already know that. In 1994, a famous, you can say, academician Spedy suggested that to apply OBE, you need to have some principles. You need to have clarity of focus, not only among teachers, but also among students. You need to design the content in a very, very different way. Again, not only content, but assessments or quizzes or exams in a very, very different way. There's very, very high expectation from you. You need to establish that high and challenging standards, because you are going to deliver skills, and that goal need to be met. We have already explained that goal to the student. At the very beginning of the sessions, very beginning of the course, I will definitely say that you are going to learn this. So if I am going to teach biology to students, I will say that you are going to learn this specific thing, anatomy or maybe different. If you are going to explain programming language, definitely you are going to tell you are going to learn Python and all the details about that. And this is goal 1, this is goal 2, this is goal 3, something like that. So he knows the goal. So he will pick you. He will come back to you. He said, out of 30 sessions, we have reached around 28 sessions, but we haven't gone through the goal 3, the objective 3. You need to focus on that. So his teacher need to set very, very high standards. And when the teachers start setting that high standard, the opportunity will expand. Not only for teachers. For example, if you know OBE, if you know how to plan a curriculum in a better manner, a lot of institutes require teachers who can plan according to OBE. So your opportunities will expand. Your institute will definitely ask you to do something good in OBE. And the opportunity for your student will also expand. So the idea is that not all the learners can learn the same thing in the same way, in the same time, but all the learners need to achieve this goal. Maybe time periods are different, maybe paths are different, but yes, they need to achieve the same goal. And for that, again, I'm going to principle 3, you need to set very high standard. So the onus lies will be on teachers to plan and deliver it in such a way. There is a full-fledged process for OBE, and the process in the process, again, Spedy said, and Professor John Briggs said, two famous academicians said that this process, OBE process, depends upon 2 words. And my agenda, my session will focus on these 2 words. So these 2 words are the axis on which my session will rotate or pass. These 2 words are constructive alignment. So constructive alignment is the idea on which this process is built. That term is coined by John Briggs in 1999. And he said that the idea is to create a learning environment which will support all the learning activities and which will give you the learning outcomes you want. The word constructive is like learner needs to construct the meaning of that activities, and the alignment is sort of teacher and the teaching system and the methods and the pedagogy needs to be aligned by that learning activity. So we're trying to run some constructive learning activities, and definitely that alignment needs to be there. So that's the idea of this. OBE process. On the basis of this idea, OBE process will flow like this. First of all, and again, so now we are coming to my core topic. So this will guide us. This is the guiding principle or guiding light behind our assessment task, designing of assessment task. So what we will do, we will use this idea of constructive alignment, and we will start framing our content, our syllabus, our course outline, and everything else. First of all, before planning the course outline or the syllabus, what we share, so before planning the syllabus, we need to define the curriculum objectives and intended learning outcomes. What will be the learning outcome of this course? For example, my student, after going through this course, my student will know how to program in Python. Or maybe my student will know how to play football. So that's the intended learning outcome, and on the basis of that, we'll finalize a curriculum objective also. After that, the main problem starts. Yeah, I told that after doing this course, my student will know how to code in Python. But how do you measure that? Definitely, you can't measure it using theoretical questions. What is Python? So if somebody can answer that, he may or may not be able to code in Python. So you need to plan a different question. This question is not anyhow related with your learning outcome. The learning outcomes, we stated in learning outcome that the student will know how to code in Python. And here we are asking questions theoretically. That's very, very, very wrong. So after running this course, the student will learn how to do RCT. I think a lot of dental teachers are there, teachers from dental domain are there. So he know how to do RCT. And in the question paper, we are asking that what is the color of our teeth? No, that question is wrong. That's not related. You need to relate the questions. You need to relate the assessment task with the learning intended learning outcome. You need to ask the student about RCT. You need to plan a experiment where he will do the RCT, and you need to check, he's doing right or wrong. You need to ask about the tools used for RCT. Okay. So anyone here who can tell me what RCT is, or tell me the full form of RCT? Let me check. I'm going in that direction or not. Any answers?
Sir, it's root canal treatment.
That's great. Means I'm taking the right example. I just want to recheck that. So and the second example, Python, was for all our friends who are there from engineering background. In fact, currently there is new amalgamation coming up where they are teaching doctors to do coding in Python. So that's a very interesting. Anyway, we are not discussing that. Accordingly, we need to select teaching and learning activities. So for RCT, we need to plan like that. For playing football, we need to go on the ground. For RCT, we need to go in the, you can say, hospital. For learning Python, we need to go in the lab. For Python, we need to use computers. For RCT, we need to use tools. For learning football, we need to use football, obviously. So you need to plan your learning and teaching activities accordingly. You need to plan your program level outcomes. So there will be two types of outcomes, program level outcomes and overall. So program level outcomes will tell that after this program, he will learn this. And there will be course level outcome. After doing this course, for example, after doing BTech, he will learn this, this, and this. After doing BDS, he will learn this, this, and this. So two different things, program level outcomes and course level outcomes. You need to plan that. And on the basis of that, you need to choose appropriate assessment tools. As I said, if you want to teach them, if you said that the student will learn how to code, then you need to ask them about the coding. You need to ask them about the programming language. You need to ask him you need to ask him, let's go in the lab and start coding. So you need to plan your learning outcome. So this OBE process, when you will see this OBE process very, very closely, so everything will revolve around that assessment task. If the assessment task is not correctly planned, everything will go haywire. That OBE will not be successful. So that's why we focus a lot on outcome-based assessment tools. So first of all, we need to define the curriculum objectives. So I will start with line by line. So here, specifically line by line means specifically things related to assessments. So first of all, we need to finalize the curriculum objectives. You can see this is the first one, curriculum objectives and learning outcomes. And in that, broadly, they are divided into three parts. Disciplinary knowledge, for example, discipline related to dental. General skills, for example, at least you need to know how to talk to a patient, or maybe how to talk to a client, how to talk to your colleagues. That's a generic skill. And attitude and values. So we all engineers take an oath, all doctors take an oath. So that oath definitely is an idea to make that value, to make them learn about the values. So attitude and values are also can also be covered in learning outcomes, because, for example, a course in moral science, so there the outcome will be related to attitude and values. A course in English, so that's a general skill, English speaking, equivalent for both. Maybe it's a dentist, maybe it's an engineer, or maybe learning different languages, or maybe how to take care of your customers, that type of course. And the third is definitely very near to our heart, disciplinary knowledge and skills. So there are three types of broad learning outcomes you can create. So, for example, so I want to make my student a better engineer. Attitude will be good, and his English speaking is also, so that he can get a better job in the industry. So that's the basic idea of planning ILO. ILO is very, very important thing. If you want, you can note this down or click a picture of this. I will share this with you also. But yes, that's very important. Before planning about ILO or without planning the ILO, you can't do anything. So you need to plan the ILO first, intended learning outcome. So to plan the learning outcome, some basic rules are there, some basic guidelines are there. What are the guidelines? So there must be a performer, and the performer will be the student, not the teacher. I will teach in such a manner that my salary will increase. No, that will not come under the purview of OBE. I will teach in such a way that the salary of my student will increase. That's better. So the performer needs to be a student. Obviously, only then you are going to check the performance. And to check the performance we are planning the assessment. So performance, definitely the performance of students need to be measured, not the teacher. And this needs to be understood by all the principals out there, all the directors and all the VCs. If the performer is the student, not the teacher, you need to measure the performance of the teacher on the basis of performance of the student. And there must be something performable or to perform. For example, I want to be better in Python. I want to be a doctor who is very good in RCT. So that demonstration or performance should be there. And you need to assess that. Assessment, the technique of assessment should be there. My student will be intelligent after this course. So how are you going to measure the intelligence? Are you going to measure IQ? Are you going to measure EQ also? So this line is very, very wrong. My student is going to be more intelligent after this course. This is not correct. You need to focus on something. you need to give a specific task, or you need to tell that this is the specific goal I'm going to measure that. I will take some examples over here. Yeah, any questions? I'll take some examples over here. For example, you can write in an ILO. This is an ILO. So for example, in an ILO, we can write that on successful completion of this program, for example, BDS graduate will be able to do the RCT in a better manner, or will be able to perform RCT in a better manner, or after the completion of this program, a BTech graduate, and I'm talking about BTech, full-fledged course, a BTech graduate will be able to do a coding in any type of environment in a better manner, something like that. For example, example 1, a graduate of this program will be able to effectively evaluate research designs, methods, and conclusions. Graduate of this program I'm talking about. So for example, I'm doing BSc in research. Think an example, then this will be the thing. Graduate of the second example is graduate of this program will be able to assess their own strengths, weakness, and omissions, and able to adjust future performance in the light of their assessment. So here we are planning a yellow for a course in HR, human resource. If you are planning a course in English or maybe communication skills, the ILO can be like this. Graduate of this program will be able to effectively communicate both formally and informally through speaking, writing, and listening. Clear cut, very clear cut. He will know this, this, and this. And that too may be measurable. We need to measure that. So that too need to be measurable. You need to measure that. And how to measure that? To measure that, you need to design the assessment. So designing the assessment has some steps. You can click a photo of this, because this is the basic, this is the pillar of my talk, or this, you can say this is the pillar of designing and better assessment. The step 1, you need to define the results to be measured. So for example, if you want that he should be good in speaking, writing, and listening, this is your ILO, this is the objective. So to do that, first of all, you need to think how to measure that. How to measure he is good in communication, speaking. For example, take a better example. Take an example that how to measure that he is good in speaking. So you need to conduct a Viva to measure that. So first of all, you need to define what are the results which need to be measured. After that, you need to identify the data and required sources. So if I want to measure, if I want to do a Viva, we need to plan a Viva, we need to plan questionnaire, we need to plan a classroom, or we need to plan a chamber which is closed so that one student at a time will come and the rest will not listen, and something like that. After that, we will review the existing assessment methods. There are some existing assessment methods, we will try to review that. So maybe that assessment methods are correct because that they are measuring the correct things and they have required data and resources. So we don't just need to discard everything. I will start from scratch. We don't need to do that. We need to plan. We need to think what currently happening. And if the current idea is good, though you don't need to change that. You just need to add something over there. I'm not saying that till now what we are doing is wrong. That's a very incorrect statement. You are doing 80% right. You are doing 90% right. You are doing 99% right. Maybe you are doing 99.99% right. But I want to add that 0.01% more, which is related to OBE, and then your assessment will transform in a very different thing, which is very, very relevant for OBE, not only for OBE, but for students and your institution also. So that's the idea of assessment in OBE. You don't need to discard everything. You just need to build upon that. And after that, you need to implement and evaluate. Am I going in the right direction? If it's yes, then no issues. Otherwise, you need to follow this. Maybe you can add something more in the next semester or next year, and the assessment will be much, much better. And that's named as continuous improvement. So this area is definitely a thing which requires continuous improvement. That continuous improvement is not only good for your institution, but also for you. You will learn new things daily. Okay. So to do that again, yes, yeah, we got an idea. We need to do this, and this. These are the steps. We need to finalize the goal. We need to finalize the step. But what are the different type of assessments which we can use to measure our students? So still what we know, we only know one type of assessments, subjective questions. Give them subjective questions, they will solve, they will come back to us, we will mark, we will give them negative grades and so on and so forth. We will fail them if they are not learning, and yeah, done. So that's not the only way of assessment. There are 6 types of assessment, and please focus on this. There are 6 types of assessment which we can use to measure these things. The first one is formative assessment. So the formative assessment is sort of continuous learning, the collection of information about the students during the progression of the course, not the end of time. So, for example, lab reports. So, lab report of a class to assess whether everyone has got this idea or not. So, first lab report, first example, first iteration, first experiment, first program. Go through the first program of all the students, so that you will know class is learning or not. So, this is formative assessment, something like continuous. The thing which we do is summative assessment. The summative assessment will run at the end of the course. But the problem is, in the summative assessment, there is a problem. We found that this student is bad. He's not learning anything. He got around 45% of marks and he is in the D grade, not fail, but in the D grade. But we can't do anything. That the student is passed with a D grade, going to another class, and we can't do anything. His learning will be limited. So summative assessment, we are assessing at the end of the course. So no, you can say, the closing of loop will not be there. You can't force that student to take that class again so that he or she can be improved. So the chance of improvement will be very little. But yes, you will learn something that in the next class, I will not teach like this. I will teach in a different manner, because in the summative assessment, I found out that most of the students are not performing. The third is criteria reference assessment. So, for example, you need to finalize some standards. So, in the national level standard in a basic programming course is 60%. So this 60% is the standard. Now we need to touch that standard. How to touch that standard? First of all, we need to assess if our students are coming into that standard or not. So that's criteria basis. Already a criteria is there. For example, the exams like SAT, MAT, these are setting criteria for different. Apart from that, there are different alternative assessments. These alternative assessments are mixed with formative, summative criteria. So you can take quiz in between. You can take a multiple choice question. That's basically alternative assessment. You can do a discussion, that's alternative assessment. You can ask them to write papers, that's alternative assessment. The next one is authentic assessment. This is mainly related to skills. For example, have you learned about playing football or not? Just go in the field. Have you learned about some movie or not? You just need to explain me that. Do you know how to direct a movie? You need to direct a movie and then tell. That's why it's named as authentic assessment. Just if you have learned something, you just need to perform that, and you just need to perform it in such a manner that the audience and the teachers can understand, yes, you have done something better. The last but not the least, one of the best one here is performance assessment. So that's, you can say something like summative, but in a different manner. You need to ask the student to demonstrate something or create something. Again, a top level of assessment. For example, you need to ask that student, now there is a patient who is coming and his tooth is having some problem. You need to see that. You need to, first of all, judge that. And after that, you need to tell them what are the medicines which are necessary and is RCT necessary or not. If RCT is necessary, then do that. A bigger one. So here we are using alternative assessments. Here you are using something like summative. Here we are using some continuous evaluations. Continuous because in the first step, when he will say that this is the problem, you need to stop him. Yeah, this is not the problem. So you can stop him. So that's performance assessment. So these 6 types of assessments are there. You need to plan accordingly, and you need to tell the students beforehand. Yeah, that's also necessary. You need to tell the students, I'm going for formative assessments. So it will be sort of continuous assessment throughout the semester. And on the basis of that, I will grade. I will not take any in-semester exam. Or maybe the in-semester exam will be purely practical. That's performance assessment or authentic assessment. So there are different types of assessments. On the basis of that, there are different types of marking schemes. So again, in the summative assessment, assessment, specifically subjective, when we are talking about subjective knowledge, you don't need to tell anything. So a student have written a 5-page answer. So out of 10, I will mark 9. And the second student has written only one paragraph. So what's that? He's written 5 pages, you are writing only 1 paragraph, so I will mark 2 up. So that maybe that student has tried to write the abstract or maybe crux. But what we are measuring here, maybe not everyone will do that, but some of the teachers does that. So what that specific teacher is measuring there, he or she is only measuring the length of the answer. That's not correct. So you need to tell your students what are my marking patterns. I will rate only on number of pages, for example, or I will rate on number of points, or I will rate only on the correct sentences. I will not take care of the wrong sentences. Wrong sentences minus. I will not give minus marking to wrong sentences, but I will my assessment will be based only on the correct sentence or maybe correct answer. I will not go through your process in mathematics. I will just only check the answer. So on the basis of that, you need to define rubrics. That's a very important thing, so that everything will be quantifiable. So there is nothing wrong and right. That depends upon your rubric. So, for example, my rubric is something like that. And if the question is related to math or numerical, I will, and if according to me that includes 10 steps, I will give marking on each step. And if the answer is correct, 2 extra marks. So something like 12 out of 12. If the process is correct, if the approach is correct, then it's fine. Okay. So that's a marking scheme. So a marking scheme normally is known as rubric. So you need to explain. You need to go through your rubrics. You need to design a better rubric so that the marking is you can say objective, not subjective. The marking is accurate, and the students already know that I will get marks on this specific thing. So you need to define clear definition. You need to do a clear definition of each and everything, or each and every characteristics of the answer. For example, I will not check your English grammar because this paper is related to science, so there are no marks on English grammar. I will not deduce any mark on wrong spellings. So you need to finalize a rubric. Rubric is something like this. For example, I'm taking a subjective exam. Sorry for my handwriting. Take an example of subjective example. So I'm trying to take a subjective exam, and that's too on the basis of Python. Python is in programming language. So Python. So what I will do? So I'll make a matrix like this. So if the algo is correct, algorithm is correct. If you written the correct algorithm, I will give you 10 marks. So this question is of 30 marks, for example. If your process is correct, I will give another 10 marks. If your code is correct, I will give you another 5 marks. If it's compiled correctly and giving the correct answer, compilation is necessary, then I will give you another 5 marks. So one student will come and say you that I know the algorithms and I know the processes, but I don't know the coding. So after assessing your his or her answer, you can give 20 marks to him, but not 30. One student will come that I can write the code in a better manner, but my coding techniques are fine, so I've written the code in better manner and that code is compiled, so I will give it 10 marks. I've also written process, 20 marks, something like that. So that rubrics needs to be established. That rubrics needs to be classified. That rubrics should be given in a matrix form, so that before even writing the answer, students know if I'll write this correctly, I will get this number of marks. If I'll write this correctly, I will get this number of marks. And after getting the marks, student will not come to you. They will not come fighting, sir, I've written everything and you have given only 19 out of 20. So then you will say that, see the rubric. On algorithm 10 marks, on process 10 marks, on code 5 marks, on compilation 5 marks. I've written, you can also write on correct English 2 marks and something like that. That depends upon you. There is nothing right and wrong, but you need to define it beforehand. You need to define even before starting your sessions. That needs to be done. And after that, after running after doing each and everything, and you need to tell the students how I'm evaluating this. This should be transparent. Transparency is the key here. Most important thing. So any questions? So transparency is the key here. As I said, objectivity needs to be there. Consistency needs to be there. So if I am giving marks on RCT, we need to finalize the parameter. What is a better RCT? These are the criteria for a good RCT. And I think every doctor knows that. So criteria 1, 5 marks, criteria 2, 5 marks, criteria 3, 5 marks, criteria 4, 5 marks. Something like that. Okay. So now take the next example, or definitely go to the next group. So after doing everything, what you need to do, you need to give a feedback to the student. You need to give a feedback to them. Is my screen shared? Can you see my screen? Everyone? Is my screen visible? Am I audible? तो मुझे लग रहा है सुनाई नहीं रहा. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Screen is also visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So next thing is giving the feedback. So student will come to you. So this question, sir, I got 15 marks out of 20 and I don't know why. So before that, even before that, you need to take all that Excel sheet. You need to give marks as per the criteria. For each question, yeah, that's a tedious task, but you need to do that. For each question, you need to make 4 columns. Part 1, criteria 1, this one, marks criteria 2, this criteria 3, this criteria 4, this. And after that, you need to take that sheet in the classroom and you need to go and discuss. I'm marking this course on the basis of a rubric, and you all are not performing, or you are all not performing well. And I'm marking on the basis of this, this, and this. So in the next exam, please be prepared and please see it carefully so that you can score well. Now you can relate. After giving this criteria, you can relate. You can go backwards and see if we have finalized a goal. The student will be able to code. And now we are measuring the same thing. That too with an objectivity, that too with an efficiency, with a correct calculation. So this is something streamlined. This is very good. You have said the same thing, and you are it's like walk the talk. You have said the same thing, and you are doing the same thing. So you are not digressing from your commitments. And if you are following the correct path, you will definitely going to reach the goal. The goal is learning outcomes. So it's very simple. Plan the learning outcomes, and on the basis of learning outcomes, plan the assessment using these 6 types of assessments. And to measure that assessments, you need to create a rubric. So that rubric is very, very necessary. That's the flow, you can say. So, and after that, accordingly, you need to select teaching and learning activities. So there are a lot of different type of teaching and learning activities. So if you want to explain coding, you need to use lab. You can't explain coding in the classroom. You need to finalize the pedagogy also. If you want to explain them, if you want to teach them swimming, you need at least a swimming. You need to take them to the swimming pool. You can't teach them swimming in the classroom. You do like this and do like this, and let's take go through a YouTube video, and now you are perfect in swimming. Let's see, you can take this swimming certificate. You are A class in swimming. When that student will go and try to swim in a river, then he will come to know, okay, I don't know swimming. I have the certificate of swimming, but I don't know that. I know the theory about that, but I don't know practically. But it will be too late for him. So if you want to teach them swimming, you need to plan your teaching and learning activities. If first you need to do this, then you need to do this, then come to swimming pool, and then we are going to teach swimming. So there are a lot of tools available for this teaching and learning activity selection. In fact, Biggs have famous academician Biggs have written a paper in which he has written a lot of guidelines. I request you to kindly go and see this paper. There are a lot of guidelines on planning the teaching strategies. And when he is giving that guidelines on teaching strategies, you always say that you need to plan your assessment like that. One more word which is there, he says that develop metacognitive skills, awareness. So awareness of their own knowledge. So how will be they aware that he knows something? So knowledge, in fact, you can say this is sort of wisdom. I know this thing and I can use this thing in correct scenario. So how is he going to do that? To do that, first of all, that student needs to understand, am I going in the right direction? And for that, he needs to understand what's the right direction and how we are measuring the right direction. Is my rubric correct? And only then he can assess himself. I can assess him. And only after that, we can develop his skills in that student. So apart from that, you need to review your program level outcomes also. So you need to only have 2-3 outcomes, not more than that. 10 to 20 outcomes is not very good. It's acceptable, but the number needs to be manageable. What normally I do when I design any course, I design course for several companies also. There are companies out there, so I normally consult them. I design courses for them, and some of the companies are in Big Four. So in the Big Four, I normally guide 3 companies to design their courses. And when they design the courses, first of all, we plan the learning outcomes. And learning outcomes, I don't go beyond 4 learning outcomes. First, for example, he will learn Python, he will learn artificial intelligence, he will learn how to code artificial intelligence, and he will learn how to use Python to implement AI, something like that. Clarity should be there. No overlap should be there. For example, he will learn Python and the second day he will learn Python in a better manner. That's very wrong. No overlap should be there. Alignment should be there. This thing should be aligned with your ILOs. So program learning outcomes and total learning outcomes, finalized learning outcomes should be in sync. And after that, definitely PLO should be in sync with CLOs, post learning outcomes, so program learning outcome, course learning outcome. So there's a lot need to be planned, and everything should be in sync. So what after that, what will happen? So for example, you have created a course learning outcome, and then your institute has created a program learning outcome for BTech. So all the course learning outcomes should be needed to associate with this final program learning outcome. So that program learning outcome is a bigger thing, and all these puzzles, all these things should go and match over there. So these things need to be there. So you need to have a sync. You need to sync with the PLOs. The CLOs need to be synced with the PLOs. Only then a better course can be achieved. So if you are teaching them BDS, their X, Y, Z skills need to be in the correct path. And that X, Y, Z skills need to be measured correctly and to be associated with total outcome of BDS. Only then that BDS will be successful. So it's something like that. I think you all are relating with that. If not, you can ask you can ask questions anytime. So now I will not bore you. I will try to cover the next some slide quickly. So here, for example, when we are creating a level of learning, so student will learn something like that. So you just don't need to use this word learn only. Sometimes you say that student need to remember this thing. For example, history. How to design a learning outcome for the history course. So you just not need to use this word learn or plan or practice. You can actually use this word recognize or recall. After going through this course, the student will recall all the important dates in history. Simple. So that's a course which is related to history. The second level is that's the basic level of a course. That's the most basic level course is at that level. For example, teaching a student ABCD, alphabets. That's only about remembering, nothing else. So that's the basic level. After that, the second level is interpreting. So after going through ABCD, the student will learn some words, and he or she can interpret the words. If this is starting from A, this is starting from B, this is a 3-letter word and something like that. That's understanding. The third level is he or she can apply that word in real life scenario. I'm taking very small example, but I think you can relate with it. The third level will be apply that word in a real life scenario. Real life scenario means now apply that word to call someone, to name someone, something like that. Execute is the word. The bigger three levels are analyzing, evaluating, and creating. In the courses like Python, you are going to create something. In the courses like BDS, you are going to critique or check something. So a doctor has performed something and the patient will come to you, is it good? So for the second opinion, so you will say, yes, it is good. This is evaluating that doctor was. Or maybe concluding your subordinates work. And the biggest level of learning is creating. So if you are teaching something which is at the UG level or PhD level, you need to define a PLO like this. Now the student will be able to generate this output, or maybe produce this part, or maybe compose this music arrangement, something like that. That's the biggest level of output. So you need to choose the appropriate words in your PLOs. That's very necessary. After that, you need to choose appropriate tools also. So let's take an example of a marking scheme of OBE. For example, if the objective is grading, so that criteria needs to define. For example, demonstrate that. Demonstrate that. For example, relevant knowledge, which remember that. For example, you can speak this or not, and you need to plan it like this. This 5 marks will be awarded. This 5 marks of my rubric will be awarded if you have clarity to make objective. The second 5 marks will be awarded when you have all the objective met. All the objective means you have met, means you have done some good RCT or you have done some good program. The next 5 marks will be, or the next out of 5 only 3 will be awarded if you are weaker in something. Only 1 will be awarded if your work is not submitted, something like that. So here 5 will be awarded, here 4 will be awarded, here 3 will be awarded, here 1 will be awarded, and you need to define that also. In which case, what will be the award of that? Okay. So that's related to OBE assessment. But one more thing is there, and I'm digressing from the topic, but there's a Bloom's taxonomy. I think everybody knows that, but I'm just reminding. There's Bloom's taxonomy, which relates to these levels. Can you see these levels? So there are 5 levels of learning, 6 levels of learning, and to judge that learning, this can be used to ask questions. You can say, so to judge that learning, either you learned or not, you can plan questions like this. So for example, if you are planning to check either the student is good in applying a concept, you can write a question like, use this concept to design something like this, or make a diagram to represent this. So these words needs to be asked in the questions itself. And after that, after asking that question, you need to finalize the rubric. You need to check as per the rubric. You need to compile. You need to give feedback, and that feedback will represent what is the percentage of course learning outcome you have achieved, and on the basis of that, your OBE will be justified. So that's the process. So I started from OBE. Now I'm going through the Bloom's taxonomy. You can use these words to associate or to plan your assessment for OBE. So that's all from my side. I took around 10 minutes extra. I think session started 10 minutes late. That's why this issue. Now the platform is open for question answer. If you want, you can ask any type of questions, and we can discuss that one. Any questions? Anyone? Anything else you need? Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
So any questions from audience side or any suggestions or anything which you require?
Sir, you talked about, sir, I'm Suchitra, I'm from Andhra University, Visakhapatnam. Sir, you talked about the alignment, right, in the initial slides. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you
Constructive alignment. Yeah, exactly.
Can you be a little bit more? I mean, can you clear it out a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. So here there are two words over there which were defined by Professor John Briggs. He said that constructive alignment. So that alignment aspect refers to what teacher does. The onus of alignment is highly on the teacher. So alignment means you are aligning your teaching systems, pedagogy, tools of teaching. For example, if I want to teach a course in Python, I need to go in the lab and then teach that. So my teaching system needs to be aligned with my course, with my outcome. And is it aligned or not? That needs to be measured also. So is it aligned or not? You will obviously get an answer when you will check the question paper and you will see that you are finding a lot of wrong answers, especially, for example, in RCT or Python. So then you need to ask a question. What's wrong? I used the correct book. I used Blackboard to teach that, but even then students are not writing the correct answer. My rubric is also good. So then you will get an answer that your teaching system is wrong. You need to go in the lab and then teach Python. You don't need to go in the hospital and then teach RCT. So that alignment of OBE with assessment task, with students, that's the role, that's where teacher comes into play. The teacher needs to align that things with the course.
Okay, sir. So I just have one more doubt, sir. Since India has the largest number of colleges, we have around 8,000 colleges all over India. So how can you suggest anything that that can be implemented uniformly in all those colleges regarding the outcome-based education? Because, for example, there is some a BSc Physics course in one college and there is a BSc Physics course in the other college. Both of them have the same general curriculum and the general syllabus, but then both of them have different outcomes and different objectives. So can we have any kind of system that can generalize the outcomes and objectives for one particular subject?
Yeah, definitely. Nice question. And a lot of work is currently going in this field. So AICT started this thing. AICT started designing model curriculums, if you remember.
Okay.
So that initiative was stuck somewhere, but maybe in the national education policy, not maybe, but in the national education policy, what they are trying to do, they are trying to make a regulatory body. It's already there. But what that regulatory body will do, they will create some model syllabus and they will create all the rubrics, all the PLOs, etc. over there. And on the basis of that, you can pick that, you can match with that with your institute learning objectives, and you can plan your content. So when they will start doing that, yeah.
Yeah. So can there be something like a uniformity, at least with the university that you are affiliated to?
Yeah, for example, I'm affiliated to Triple IT. So there is info uniformity in Triple IT. So yes, for example, Triple IT Lucknow course is based on roughly, or overview is based on Triple IT Allahabad course. Their course is based on another 3 Triple IT. So sort of, you can say not 100% common, obviously that can't be done, but 60-70% things, process, plans are in the same direction.
Okay. And what about the laboratories, sir? How do we assess whatever that is happening in the lab? Because see, not all colleges will have the same kind of infrastructure, right? Some of them will, for example, take lathe machines. Some will have the highly, what you call as updated kind of technology with the lathe machines, and some might still be using the old mechanical ones. So how do we put the objectives and outcomes for that particular kind of laboratories?
Again, OBE will help there. So if in the NEP, regulatory body plans that you need to do this 10 experiments.
Oh.
So a basic baseline is now set. So for these 10 experiments, you need to purchase the machinery. And after, on the top of that, you can build 2-3 more experiments in your college if you want to do something better. That's up to you. But this is mandatory. This is hygiene. This is the basic level you need to achieve. That will be given by regulatory bodies.
Okay. And one last one, sir. I'm sorry, I'm taking so much of your time.
Please ask. Yeah.
Yeah. So, is there a common outcome for like an engineering graduate that is like the same for all over the universities in the world? Like, is there a common objective that says that, okay, the engineer that is coming out of this particular branch should have these kind of outcomes?
No, that's not possible. Frankly speaking, that's not possible. That depends upon area to area. For example, currently, world is trying to do research in some theoretical part. You can see the papers, the journals which are currently publishing from US and China. They are highly theoretical. And the papers which are publishing papers and patents which India is writing is in the applied part.
Okay.
So definitely that's the need of that country. That's the need of our, and this needs to be changed every 2-3 years also. Because currently we are lying in a domain where we are in an age where a lot of automation is necessary. So we need to add that automation part also in our tech curriculum. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so according to like Washington Accords and all that, since we are trying to standardize the education, so I thought that at least, there must be some basic outcomes that all the graduate students should meet. Like, for example, at least be capable of having good communicating skills and some soft skills, or at least proficiency in one particular language, for example, English, like, so that they can go anywhere and work anywhere. So things like that, maybe, some basic things like that, they can be put in as the general objectives or an outcomes.
Maybe, but that's so that they are thinking it in a different way. So like UN is thinking in a sustainability metric. So they are trying to plan that course related to sustainability, and they will introduce that and they will finalize the OBE. But that communication thing varies a lot. For example, here in India, communication means English. But nowhere in the world is like that. So for example, I was in Japan. I went to Japan. I know English, not very well, but I know English. But even then, they taught me Japanese to take a course in their university. That was mandatory over there. So communication as for Japan is Japanese.
Okay.
So that's why this gap is there. No, you can say standard can be formed, but a brief framework is designed especially for course related to sustainability, etc. And Indian government is also trying to make a brief framework which will relate to OBE.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your patience and your session. It was very wonderful, and it gave us a lot of insight about OBE processes. So yeah, there is one question from the chat box which I would like to ask you too. So is there any standard like book or a PDF that is issued by someone that gives you a standard idea about OBE?
So I recommend going through John Briggs and Spade's paper. They are very good. Okay. Apart from that, there is an Indian author. He has written a book, Ajit Ramarao. He was Maharashtrian. I sorry, forgot his name. Ajit Ramarao is something. But that book has some good content. So he has written a process, and I've seen that book. I think 3-4 years back, 2 years back, I think, and I've seen that there are some good processes written in that.
Okay, thank you very much.
So that
sir.
you can refer that.
Is there any way we can connect with you, like over maybe LinkedIn or somewhere?
Yeah, just give me 1 minute. I will post my LinkedIn link over here. That's a better. Thanks for reminding me that.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Just give me 1 minute. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, sir.
So in between, if any other questions, if you want to ask, then it's definitely you are welcome.
Is there any other questions?
So I'm posting that link of my LinkedIn and in the chat. I request you all to please try to connect with me. And if you have any questions after this session, you can drop me a message on my LinkedIn Messenger. Definitely, I will respond. Can you? Did you got the link?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
I think there is no more questions. We'll move to the vote of thanks. Thank you, dear doctor. It was an enlightening session. On behalf of IFERP, I would like to appreciate you for sharing your experience and useful knowledge. I'm pretty sure that your words would add more value for our session. Okay, we'll move to the vote of thanks.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, all. Thank you, Dr. Deepak Singh, for the wonderful session. I believe that the first session of the FDP was informative for all. And the next session will be start sharply at 3 p.m. On behalf of IFERP, I heartily thank all the professors, academicians, and delegates who have joined us today. I would like to extend my gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Deepak Singh, for delivering the keynote address. I'll post the link of the upcoming conference along with feedback link. IFERP would like to receive your suggestions and feedback to advance the upcoming session much more informative. Kindly check in chat and give your feedback through feedback link.
So, Ashwara, can we leave the session?
I hope that everyone received the link.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for your.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, IFERP, for arranging the session. Good day. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Thank you all. I'm winding up the session. We'll meet you on 3 p.m.